Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rusty 78609, alive and in color, Technicolor, and CinemaScope, and other stuff from Fort Davis, Texas. Believe it or don't, I am in Fort Davis, Texas, at an RV park. Very nice RV park, what it is to me, and very quiet. There's only like four other RVs here, and I haven't heard dogs barking and all that crap. But anyway, it's been a long drive. I drove a total of around, I don't know, 450 miles. Probably could have gone a shorter way, but I chose not to. Why? Because I want to enjoy myself. And why? Here's how I enjoy myself. Here's to you, here's to me. Chug-a-lug, guys, chug-a-lug. Friday night beer 30 sanity session officially begins. Yeah, it was a good day, good drive, about 5 hours. And yeah. Have y'all seen enough of me today or enough videos today? You know what's amazing? All these other creators talk about spending all their time editing videos. I could do 10 a day, man. Do I care about editing? What the hell for? I mean, you got to edit my music, got to get it just right, like you're making a movie. But anyway, that's their choice. I'm not making fun of them. It's just that I do me, they do them, and that's the way that is. But anyway, Beer 30 Sanity Session Friday night from Fort Davis, Texas. And the good thing about Fort Davis, it's a little over 5,000 feet in elevation. Where I am is certainly a little more than that. And it's the temperature outside right now is quite pleasant. It's probably in the low 80s here. And in the mornings, it'll be right around 60 to 62 degrees. Very similar to Capitan, New Mexico in a lot of ways. It's a small town, population about 1,200 people. They do have a grocery store. They don't have a deli, though. And they've got some restaurants and other stuff. And it's just a really neat little community, and I enjoy it. Would I like to live here? Sure. But you ain't going to find property here. No. They got it for sale. Check out the prices and see what you get. But anyway, so for our viewing enjoyment today, I thought I'd reminisce a little about something other than my childhood experiences. I went in the U.S. Peace Corps at the ripe old age of 48. I turned 49 in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, and that was an interesting experience. But we'll start from assuming, I won't go through all the stuff leading up to getting in the Peace Corps and all the crap you got to go through. We'll start with me boarding the flight from Austin, Texas to San Francisco, California, where we all met up. And I think we ended up at the Holiday Inn for a while. And there was a meeting room. We met there and did some stuff and talked about stuff. Anyway, it occurred to me when I arrived there that I was by far the oldest individual there. I was 48. Nearest person to me was a person out of California, 30 years old. And then it went all the way down to like 22, 20 and all that stuff. And they graduated from all the major universities, Harvard, Yale, Berkeley, Southern Cal, all that stuff. And I graduated from a little Catholic school in San Antonio, Texas, and I'm not even a Catholic, that they had never heard of. And I didn't care, to tell you the truth. No, it didn't impress me at all. But they were quite knowledgeable. All of them were pretty well traveled. I'd say all of them, actually. Some of them, the Peace Corps gave you a passport. They had a passport set up for you with the State Department logo on it and all that stuff. And some of these guys already had a passport, so they therefore had two passports, their own personal passport and the Peace Corps passport, which I thought was pretty neat because all I had was the Peace Corps passport, and that's the end of that. So anyway, we were in a restaurant for a while, and there was a bar there and stuff. And I didn't know if it was beer 30 or not, but hell, I wanted a beer so bad I got one. And so I was drinking a beer, and I don't know I didn't care what they were doing. They were talking, and I was more or less listening because I certainly wasn't well traveled at that time. I'd been to Mexico a few times, some of the islands and stuff, but not much. Never Europe or anything like that. But so it ended up, I don't know why the Peace Corps does this shit, but they do. There was three guys in one room. Okay, me and I don't know who the other two were. And I didn't particularly care for that a bit. In fact, I even asked the director, the person there that was in charge, I said, but why can't I just pay a little more and I have my own private room? Oh no, we're just getting started. We all got to get buddied up and all that crap. So okay, that's fine. Little did they know what a lone wolf I was. So anyway, that evening, our first evening, they decided that they were going to go. Well, there was a whole. They did everything in groups. Okay, I mean they shit together in groups. I mean I guess I don't know, but it was because they were all young. I mean they wanted to go check it out in Chinatown, go check out stuff, and go eat some China food and all that stuff. I had no desire. What I wanted was pizza. Would go with my beer. And so I did. I ordered me a pizza from North Point Pizza in San Francisco, California. And when they brought it, it was damn good. In fact, I even put a few slices in my bag that I was carrying on the plane so I'd have something to snack on. I'm glad I did because it paid off. I also put in a few bottles of water. Back then, it wasn't a problem. And so, that helped too. And anyway, so we get on the flight from San Francisco later to go to we flew to Tokyo, and then from Tokyo to Beijing, and then Beijing to Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, and all of those were experiences in themselves. Okay, flying into Tokyo was interesting. Of course, they told us we couldn't leave the airport, which I didn't plan to anyway. But we had to wait 3 or 4 hours for another flight. Flew into Beijing, and then we stayed overnight or 2 nights, whatever it was, at the place. I call it the Movenpick. I'm sure it's pronounced something else. Here's to you. Here's to me. But anyway, what I found out was these guys were so young, that they were still used to uh, somebody kind of taking care of their stuff, because a lot of them, when we'd get to different places, well, I don't have any of that. Well, why don't you? I think it was shit. You got to eat and drink water and stuff. Why don't you? But anyway, enough said. And so then when we flew out of course, we stayed at the Movenpick Cup, and then we fly on Mongolian International Air Travel, which is we called it MIAT, and you fly from Beijing to Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, and I'll skip some parts because they had a big greeting for us from the groups that were there, and everybody got drunk. I drank, but I didn't drink to get drunk. And I do that now. But some of these guys, these younger people, of course, I did it when I was younger, their age too. I mean, just drink till you get plowed. You know what I mean? And there was this one girl out front of this building we were in. She's puking in a bush, and she fell into the goddamn bush. And I said, "You need some help?" She said, "I can't get up. I can't move." Anyway, so I helped her up and cleaned her up a little bit, and we took her to the bathroom so she could clean herself up. I mean, she wasn't the only one though. No, she wasn't the only one. Just they get blind, drunk, and anyway, here we are in a foreign country. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. And we had some guys that were pretty loud, man. They'd holler at the Mongolians and stuff and call them bad names and stuff. Not, I don't know why. I mean, well, of course they were drunk and all that stuff. And then we went to a little bar and anyway, I thought they were pretty rude. Some of them, not all of them, some of them, and and then of course when we got to I may have told this story before, but when we got to the place we were going to have to stay for a few weeks, it was an old Russian officers' quarters, and I'm sure I've mentioned it before in the past, but we were on the second floor. All the Peace Corps volunteers, males and females. There was girls' restroom, men's restroom, all that stuff. But they were pretty rugged, so to speak, like what you'd see in Mexico, about 3 streets off the main drag. You know what I mean? Pretty. It had a little odor. You know what I mean? And and they had a little stall for each toilet, but the deals only came up this high. Okay, so when you're sitting there doing your thing, you can talk to your buddy next door. Hey man, what's happening over here? How you doing? Enough said about that. Anyway, mouth's getting dry again. Here's to you. Here's to me. Mm. But anyway, when we first arrived, for some reason, those guys that I was in the motel room with at Holiday Inn, I guess they thought I was a buddy of theirs or something, and I wasn't. And well, I mean, they were okay. They were just young kids. I just wanted my own privacy and stuff. So, and there were plenty of rooms. I mean, there were this whole upper level. There was probably, well, there were more rooms than there were people. Okay, we only had 28 guys. Well, I say 28 guys. There were half of it was girls. You know what I mean, in their 20s. Anyway, enough said about that. So when I got there, and I went right ahead, went up the stairs, took my bag with me because I wanted to get a room, kind of near the restrooms or whatever. Put my bag down, and hell, here comes two more guys in there. Set their bags. Says, "Hey man, what are y'all doing?" Well, we can fit in here. What are you talking about? There's only two damn beds. Okay, what are you gonna do? You gonna sleep with Buddy over here? You and woo, you know what I mean? Well, I don't know if they weren't from California as far as I know, but anyway, so I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. Why don't you all take this room and I'll go find me another one? Okay. Oh, dude, that's a good idea, boss. Good idea. You know what I mean? And so anyway, I left them there and went and found me another room, which worked out fine, nice and private. And what I did, those little bunks were only about like this wide. You know what I mean? And they were hard. They had a mattress on them. It was like a board. And so what I did is I put two of those beds together and kind of overlapped the mattress in the center to make me kind of a twin bed, so to speak. It worked out perfect, very damn comfortable. And pillows and stuff I rigged up, and out of clothes, my clothes, I just stuffed them together, made a pillow because the little pillow they had was like this. Anyway, well, after a couple of days of eating and drinking in Mongolia, everybody had diarrhea. I mean, big time. Well, you go in the men's restroom sometime, you have to wait in line, you know what I mean? And you can't wait long. When Montezuma's revenge goes off, it's not like, well, hell, I'll just wait a while. Bullshit. You move over, baby. Oh, daddy's coming home. Here's to you, here's to me, guys. Hmm. So anyway, that was that. And then we had to go after I don't know. We'd been in the country about 6 weeks, doing what they call PST, which is pre-service training, which is some of the cultural stuff, a little not much language, mostly cultural stuff and some teaching skills stuff. Because I'd never taught anything, but it was helpful. I thought it was well done. The volunteers that from the states that helped us learn how to do teaching plans and all that stuff. I thought it was very helpful. I really did. And of course, we had to do other things. I was in business, and so I had to go meet with people out in the steppe and talk about free markets and stuff. And I thought, man, am I qualified to talk about this stuff? These guys have been living with a barter system. Where I'll trade you one chicken for a goat, or two chickens for a goat or something. That was kind of how they did things. And I'm not too sure their system was. I think their system might have been better. Okay, it's kind of hard for me to argue about free markets and capitalism and all that stuff. I really didn't feel comfortable with that at all. But I did meet some really nice people, and through an interpreter, got to make some friends. And I think I told you this story too. We had one guy, and he was from the East Coast somewhere, but he said he was a real rugged camper type guy, and he wanted to go out and live in the steppe, out in the boonies. You know what I mean? And I told him one day, I said, man, you know what you're asking for. I've been out there a couple of times. Man, ain't nothing out there. You know what I mean? They drink, they go break ice in these little streams and carry it back to melt it for water to drink. You into that? And they use for fires. They use dung from the horses and whatever. I don't think the yak, whatever shit they burned. Okay. Anyway, and they use that to heat their food and cook their food and stuff. And I said, man, you into that? Oh yeah, yeah. I can do. I can do it. I can do it. I don't remember his name, but he was a sharp kid though. I thought, well, maybe he can. Anyway, but I was in the city. I was on the eighth floor of a foreigners building, and and when I say foreigners, I mean foreigners, man. They had a little elevator that would hold about maybe 8 people total, and sometimes there'd be 5 or 6 in there, and you wouldn't hear one language of the same. It'd be Russian, Chinese, Mongolian, maybe North Korean. Everything you could pick up except English. I never heard any English. You get a little lonely there, but anyway. Uh, this guy that Mr. Step guy, we'll call him. Well, Mr. Step guy, the steppe is the boonies. I mean, it's the country. Okay, it's the countryside. They call it the steppe. Anyway, he did get what he asked for. He was going to teach at this little school in this village. I don't know. They maybe had to helicopter him in. Man, it was in the boonies. Anyway, so he did. He had a gear, a tent. It's a round tent thing. They call them gears. Over here we call them yurts. Same thing, just a round thing. The walls are about 4 feet high. Got a little door and they got walls that are kind of padded like this, insulated. It's good stuff, but it's not. It's insulated with wool and other things. It works real good. I mean, they stay warm, and it's got a little fireplace in the center with a metal flue that goes up through the center, and that's where you do your cooking, and that's your heater. That's your heater cooking everything. And then they got a little bed and some stuff for him to, to put his stuff. And so away he goes. He's out there living. Well, of course, I'm in the city, and if I wanted to go eat somewhere and I had the money, I could find food at the circus market, or I could go to. There was actually a restaurant. They'd give you a menu in Mongolian. That helped a hell of a lot. I mean, but I did learn a few words like how to ask for, beef and stuff, and or sandwich and stuff. But enough said. So here's this guy out in the boonies, right? One day we had this little meeting, and it was, they were talking about, everybody's, got to be careful because it's pretty rugged out there in the steppe and all that stuff. And, if you go out there, be careful. Well, what had happened, this guy, and I know I've told you this before too, but let me have a drink of beer before I finish. He got what he wanted. When he's out there in the boonies, 2 or 3 months go by in the winter, it gets pretty damn cold, man. I mean, it gets down to minus 20, 30 degrees. It's like northern Montana, It's right on that latitude of Canada and the United States, same all the way around, Cold, close to Siberia. How about that? And so there he was out there trying to teach, I guess. I don't know what he was doing. Anyway, somehow the Mongolians got word to the Peace Corps that he had locked himself up inside of or barricaded himself up inside of his gear, his little tent thing, and he wouldn't come out. They'd go knock on the door and try to get him to come. He wouldn't come out. He wouldn't. He wouldn't. So anyway, somebody from the embassy and the Peace Corps medical officer and the director, country director, they got a jeep and went out there where he was. They couldn't get him out either. He wouldn't come out for them. So what they had to do was they had to finally pry the door open a little bit to get in there, and that one of the Marines that was with him, he got in there, and the guy was nuts, man. He flipped out, gone. You know what I mean? And I don't know. They didn't have a straitjacket with him, but anyway, I think they gave him a shot or something, calmed him down, and anyway, they ended up he was on the next plane back to wherever, probably some insane asylum. I don't know. But yeah, be careful what you ask for, and when you're in a foreign country, and you don't know, you don't know the culture, you don't know the language, you can't ask for certain foods and stuff. Yeah, it's damn difficult. I mean, it's probably the most difficult thing I ever did in my entire life, physically and mentally, you know what I mean? Because, I went from 219 pounds to 150 in 2 years, That's you talk about a weight loss program. Here's to me, here's to you. But anyway, overall, thumbs up to the U.S. Peace Corps. I think they do a good job because the whole theory there started in the 60s by John F. Kennedy. It was peace through understanding. And that was a good theory, and it still is a good theory in that these young people go into these other countries all over the world as volunteers, and they do a lot of good things. They do a lot of useful things. Some of them are engineers, some of them are, architects. Some of them they do all kind of stuff, man. They help with water systems and planting crops and all stuff. And some of these guys are really damn sharp and do a damn good job. And we had a few that were just excellent. I was really impressed, except for me, which, hell, I couldn't even get my students to show up, and there was nothing I could do about it. Well, they did every now and then, but you never knew when. But enough said I only had 4 or 5 at a time if I had that. Because I was teaching at a graduate school called Institute for Managerial and Administrative Development, IMD. Anyway, it was a good place. But so anyway, with that in mind, I'm trying to think of something else I could tell you about. Oh, the Peace Corps. Yeah, it's not only good in theory; it's good in fact. There's of course there's always you'll hear crazy stories. Girls getting raped. Of course, the Peace Corps never reports that. That never makes the news media. If it does, it was a pure fluke. The things that happen in country stay in country. It's just like with other things in the military and intelligence gathering outfits. You're on your own, man. You screw up and you did it, and so it's kind of the way that was. But after a few months, everybody was pretty well tight. You know what I mean? Whenever we'd get together once a month for our little parties and stuff, it was some damn good times, man. Really. And I look forward to it when they would come in from the countryside and come into the city and we'd go out to this motel and about 10 miles away from the city, and the Peace Corps would rent it, and we'd get everybody get party like hell for like 3 or 4 days. Anyway, enough said. What else can I tell you? Well, anyway, back to reality now. I just flew back in to here. Yeah, today was a good trip from Denver City or Yoakum County Park, driving here in the motorhome. And I have to tell you, man, I mean, I know I've said it many times. I'm losing my voice here. I got to have a little swallow here. Here's to you. Here's to me. Should we ever disagree? Here's to me. Anyway, guys, to maintain your sanity, don't go to a foreign country that you don't understand the culture and can't speak the language. Rule number one. You'll be insane pretty quick. But here in Fort Davis, Texas, I do speak the language and I do understand the culture, and it's a very enjoyable little community. I just went into town today and spent a few minutes. I was going to get me a chicken fried steak with cream gravy and Texas toast. I was. And they have it's called the Harvard Restaurant or something. It's downtown on the right. And $20. $20. 20. I thought, well, do I need a chicken fried steak that bad? No. And I realized that's the new prices, and I ought to just dig up a coffee can and get going, but I ain't going to do it. But anyway, guys, from Fort Clark Springs on a Friday night, and it's more important for you than for me because I don't really work. Some of you do. And, chill out, relax, take a deep breath. Breathe out slowly. It's Friday night, man. Relax. You got the weekend coming up. You can have a few beers tonight, watch a good movie, take a walk, get a pizza, whatever the hell you want to do. It's your life. Enjoy the hell out of it. Because if you don't enjoy it, it's your fault. Ain't mine. Ain't nobody. You can point at everybody on the whole planet. Hey, better point this way. You know what I mean? But having said that, guys, thumbs up. Carpe diem. Adios. Bye-bye. Buy anything you want anytime. But if you think about it, use the link to Amazon products in the description of all my videos. Why? Because it won't cost you one penny. And then drink plenty of water, stretch, walk, stand guard at the door of your mind. Don't watch the news and all that stuff. And variety is a spice of life. But you don't have to overspice it. If you're comfortable with some simple spices, then do it. Just try to enjoy your life and keep your health. How about that one? Keep your sanity if you can. If you've already lost it, don't worry about it. Hell, you never find it. You know what I mean? But anyway, adios, amigos. Carry on, bye-bye, till tomorrow morning at comment call, and we'll start the whole thing over again. How about that? Adios, guys. Bye-bye.